Hi guys, Thierry here, also known as Video Demon, and today I thought, with all the coronavirus stuff going on, we've been quarantined in our homes. A lot of people have been feeling bored and lonely and stuff like that. So, I thought, you know, why don't I go back to making videos again? I've got way more time now. I've got plenty more ideas, and for people who subscribe to me, I want to make more videos for you guys. So I thought, why not go back to making album reviews? Because the last one I did, I think it was Natural Selection by Fuel. And that was ages ago. I think that was 2018. So, but I took a break because I was realizing that, the album reviews weren't popular because of the whole hemisphere of YouTube. But then it reminded me that the YouTuber Cover Killer Nation has decided to go on, he's retired on his YouTube channel. He'd been doing album reviews for about 10 years, so, and he just decided to want to have a break finally. So this video is also going to be dedicated to him because he's truly inspired me. Because in his video, he actually said, even though album reviews aren't the huge thing on YouTube, don't stop making them if you enjoy them. If you want to introduce people to new music, if you want to give amazing bands attention, keep making reviews. So I'll keep to that promise, and I want to make videos that I enjoy and that you all enjoy too. But anyways, so today I've decided to review a more obscure album today. As the title says, we're going to be taking a look at Atomship, The Crash of 47, released in May 2004. Now, with these reviews, I'm probably going to be sticking to alternative metal, new metal, alternative rock, post grunge, classic grunge, because those are my favourite genres of all time currently. I really dig that sort of music, and I want to make it. I hope I can make it and revive it, hopefully, if I get the right people on board. So I want to stick to these reviews because they're the bands that I love the most. But I've chosen Atomship because unfortunately they were one of those few bands where this was their only album they ever made. There were no other albums after this one, and it's a real damn shame because I definitely do think these guys should have been bigger because of the sheer raw talent that they had, and not many people have heard of them except for me. So yeah, but before we get into, I'm actually going to go by it track by track. We're going to take a look at the case first, and I'm going to go through some brief history. I've actually made some notes here as well, but we're going to try and go through the history quickly. I don't want this video to be hours long, even though I wish I would because I love these guys. But yeah, so let's take a look at the cover. The Crash of 47. The title is a reference to the Roswell crash of 1947, where there was a flying saucer that crashed in I think it was a field or something like that, crop circles and stuff, very sci-fi stuff. And they basically thought that it was an alien flying saucer, all kinds of tin foil hat wearing conspiracy theorists. But yeah, it really does fit the theme because these guys were all about sci-fi and strange music. But the album cover has a picture of a rabbit on because they formed in 2002 as Watership Down, but because of copyright reasons they had to change the name because it's obviously that messed up film with the rabbits in it. So we have this amazing logo of the side profile of an alien rabbit. I absolutely love this logo and I really want it on a t-shirt, but I don't think they sell them anymore. So we have the cover, it's very nice and red and gold and yellowy kind of coloured here, and the back of it has a very robotic. It kind of looks like a spaceship, atom ship, and the tracks look like they've been written with a laser beam that's burnt through the metal. I think that's badass. Wind Up Records produced this album. Who they were really big in the 2000s, but yeah, they were not a good record label for reasons that we're going to get into. Let's take a look at the case. We've got the rabbit on the CD as well, and more kinds of designs here. There's a picture of a dragonfly on the cover as well, which is a reference to one of the songs. I'll have to note as well, guys, that's the spine as well. This is actually the probably the rarest CD I own because I got it from Amazon for about 20 quid, which is quite expensive for one CD. You'd probably get a vinyl record for that much money. But it's because it was the only album they made. Not many were produced. I think it was a US import as well. So, I mean, there's been rarer albums, but this album was not on eBay. I had to get it off of Amazon, but I'm really glad I did because it's something to cherish. But anyway, let's go through the history briefly. So Atomship were formed in 2002, and they ended up changing the name to, well, they were Watership Down, then they changed it to Atomship to fit their kind of sci-fi theme. And in 2004, they recorded this album and released it in May. Unfortunately, in late 2004, they were kicked off the label by Wind Up because it didn't sell enough copies. Unfortunately, which was a really crappy thing back in the day. Because like if your album didn't go platinum, it didn't sell, which is like really sad. But yeah, they got back together. They got back together a couple years later, and they were gonna work on another album in 2007 called Let Us Sleep a While, but it just didn't happen. It never accumulated except some demos that you can find on YouTube. But yeah, and there was a very good reason that happened. But yeah, so the band members were Derek Pardo on vocals, but according to Wikipedia, his anxiety, well, that's what it says. He didn't record on this album. They got Joey Culver instead, and I'm really glad that they got Joey. No offense to Derek, but his voice was a little bit whiny and high pitched for this kind of sound. Joey's voice is kind of a mix between the singer of 12 Stones, you know, the guy who did the rapping section in Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. So the guy from 12 Stones mixed with Maynard from Tool. His voice is he pronounces things like this. Like he sings like this. Like he doesn't have like the post grungy, the normal voice, but it really fits the sci-fi strangeness of it, and it's great. Chad Kent on drums, one of the best drummers I've ever heard. I'd compare him to like Joey Jordison from Slipknot and Neil Peart from Rush, rest in peace. I'd compare him because of just the level of technique that he uses and the time signatures. Absolutely brilliant, underrated drummer. And Nathan Slade on guitar, and he also did bass on this album. And the bass player from Ugly Kid Joe did some bass on this album too. I forgot his name, but yeah. But unfortunately, Nathan Slade passed away in December of 2009. So yeah, it's kind of why we never got more music from these guys. Nathan was a big part of the writing and the guitar work. So with him gone, we might never get new music. But nowadays, Jared Slade, Nathan Slade's brother, is the guitarist. So I'll give them an exception for that. If you replace, if it's a relative replacing the dead band member, I think that's a pretty honourable thing to do. But yeah, that's just some brief history. They reunited a couple times as Watership Down again, and then Atomship Down. But in 2017, they got back together. They got Joey back in the band after he was, some disagreement happened, and they got Derek back. But Joey is back in the band again, and they've been touring since 2017. So fingers crossed, maybe we'll get a new album someday. But who knows? But that was to sum up most of the history. The band's sound is kind of like they're basically alternative metal mixed with progressive metal. Like, because it was 2004, new metal was kind of going out of style by then, so I wouldn't really call them that much new because they're not that heavy. But they are alternative metal, but they're progressive as well because like they have a lot of use of like time signatures and speed in the playing. And I'd also call them post-grunge too, but unlike bands like Stained and Seether with a lot of like angst and pain and overly depressing lyrics, these guys actually made pretty like uplifting stuff and they weren't overly angsty. So I think that a lot of people would enjoy them. They wouldn't be turned off by them. So that kind of sums up Atomship as a whole, their history. But as you can see, we're almost 10 minutes in. So I think it's about time to get to the track list and why I think this album is an underrated masterpiece. So let's begin. I've also got some notes here as well, if I didn't mention that. So track number 1 is Day of Days. The song starts off with some reverb, some but we go straight into the drumming. There's a nice mix of I guess I call it like standard electric guitars rather than like overly distorted stuff. But the verses are really peaceful sounding and they're also like electric acoustic. The lyrics of this song are kind of like, he's saying, "Mother, where are you? I love you, I'm right here. It was a good day to die," and stuff like that. And lyrics about Jesus and stuff like that. So I think this song is about maybe the loss of a loved one, a relative, the mother. and Father is also mentioned in the lyrics as well. So, but maybe that means God. So there's lyrics about religion, all that kind of stuff. Pretty interesting. That's what Atomship were good at, and Derek actually did write the lyrics, but of course Joey was singing over it instead. But it's a really great opening track. The song's only about like 2.5 minutes, so it's quite a quick song compared to the rest of them, but I think it's good for an opening track. Day of Days, really uplifting. It's just a really good song, and it, despite the lyrics being on the downer side. Track number 2, Mothra, which is a reference to the Godzilla monster Mothra. And the song starts off with like a minute of ambience. It's very like Tool interlude track wise. There's a lot of ambience and slowness, and the drums build up. But after the minute, it goes into the verses where Joey's saying Mothra versus the world. Let's play. And there's all kinds of drumming. I could praise the drumming on the entire album. The drumming is superb. There's the good thing about Chad Kent and the production of this album is that he hits every single area of the drum. There's a lot of snare work. He hits the snare many times. He very much keeps it in time with the bass pedals, the bass drum pedals, and there's a lot of tom work as well here. A lot of like drum fills, and every cymbal can be heard. So that's a real positive of this album compared to most grungy, post-grungy type albums which had basic drumming. This is really fast and quick. But anyways, so I basically praised the drumming on all the songs. But yeah, Mothra, it is really badass. It really gives in kind of like makes you think of like monsters like Godzilla, like fighting and everything like that. And the verses are pretty like simple, but then it goes into kind of like a bridge section with like really like nu metal like sounding guitar riffs, like it sounds very like nu metal, and the drumming gets really fast. I'd say it's kind of like thrash metal a little bit as well. So it really goes into a lot of things. And later on, Joey starts yelling, Mothra! It's really badass. I could totally see this being like an AMV kind of like soundtrack, but it wasn't for some reason. You know, anime music videos. But yeah, Mothra, it's a really badass song. It's one of the more progressive songs. There's lots of time signature changes, speed changes and things like that, and it does go on for like over 5 minutes, so it's one of the longer songs. But yeah, Mothra, excellent. Dragonfly, track number 3. The song starts off with kind of really like catchy and memorable riffs, like it's basic at the beginning, but it builds it up, and there's a lot of like tom hitting and bass drum hitting until it goes into the verses where Joey's singing, driving round in my car, the speeds of light going very, very far. And the lyrics are about, he's mentioning seeing the birds and the trees and the dragonflies. I think it's about nostalgia. You know, he loved you more than I could ever show. He's seeing these kind of like animals of nature and seeing this dragonfly and thinking about his childhood and getting nostalgic feelings. And it is a driving track. Like the speed of the song would fit like driving down a road. And the snare work is also like amazing. Just how many times he hits the snare is really good as well. But there's also really peaceful sections amongst all the nu metal like riffs. There's really peaceful sections where the drumming stops and he sings, "You'll come crashing down." Those bits are just great. I'd say Dragonfly would be in my top 3 songs by Atomship. It might be my favourite song on the album, but who knows. Dragonfly, excellent. Track number 4 is Pencil Fight. Now, this was the big single by the band. This was the lead single by them, and it even got a music video, but the music video is pretty damn crappy. You can find it on YouTube. It's 240p quality. There's a lot of kind of like cheesy green screen effects, like 2000s green screen effects, and bad CGI buildings. So, I mean, if you want to see the band in the flesh, that's a way of looking at it, but yeah, it's not a good music video. It's pretty damn laughable. But the song is still fantastic. So the song, I think the lyrics are about like a kid that's like bored in school. Maybe they've got some kind of like ADHD or some kind of disorder like that. They're finding it hard to concentrate. You know, Teacher, catch me if you can, leave me here at the bus stop with my pencil made of steel. And the chorus is very, very basic in terms of lyrics. He's just saying, I'm thinking, pencil, fight, here we are. But it's still really effective. It's one of the more new metalish sounding songs. It's got a really great mix of catchy riffs. That intro riff is fantastic. And the speed of the song makes me think this would be a really good workout song. Like if you were working out at the gym, I say you should put Pencil Fight in your gym playlist. But in my opinion, I think the song should have been much bigger, and I'm sad that it wasn't. But a lot of people know this song though because it was in NASCAR 2005 on PS2. I've never played the game, so that's not how I discovered them. But yeah, Pencil Fight. The bridge section as well goes into a slow kind of section where Joey starts doing a speech saying like the sky that you love and the ground that you hate, everything that once what I can't bloody remember, but everything that there once was, you'll find, you'll never die. And then he goes back into the chorus again, and the song ends with some more like fast-paced drum hitting and like riffage, and then the song ends. So it is very varied, but it is one of the more radio-friendly songs. It's got the verse, chorus, bridge kind of thing going on there. One of the more radio-friendly songs. Pencil Fight, check it out. Track number 5, Withered. Probably my favourite song on the album, but I have to say the demo version that actually had Derek Pardo on it, I actually prefer that version for some reason. It's more like, I prefer it honestly how it sounds, but the one on the album is still really great. But Withered is the typical acoustic kind of, well, not atypical I should say, but the Withered acoustic, the acoustic song on the album, the really peaceful one, it's got really dreamy kind of sounding songs, and it makes me nostalgic. It makes me think of like when I was a child and stuff like that, going on holiday. I don't know what it is. It just affects me like that. But the lyrics are, well, about someone suffering from depression, I think, because it's 2 in the morning and I'm feeling so ugly. And there's lyrics like, I've got this chip on my shoulder, keeps my eyes spread wide open. I walk myself into my room. Yes, I will. I'll lay right down and daydream of you. So maybe it's thinking about depression, but that one person, whoever that is, friend, lover, that makes it want to go away. And there's also, lyrics about it. I see my son is still sleeping, but I'm feeling so lonely. So the protagonist might be a father as well, dealing with problems, fatherhood. It really does go into these kind of things. And the middle section is really nice as well, Although my soul's been withered and whisked away, my grey matter brings me home. Now, thinking of grey matter makes me think of brains, so it's kind of like going to the sci-fi element. I mean, the only sci-fi song so far was Mothra, but a lot of the songs do get like that later on. But yeah, Withered is just really beautiful. It's just dreamy. It reminds me a lot of like a less depressing version of Broken by Cedar for some reason. That's what the song reminds me of. But yeah, the singing is just really peaceful. Joey's got a great voice on this one, and if you want a ballad, just check out Withered. It's brilliant, and I think the song should have been a single. It should have had a music video, and it should have been way bigger than it was. And it makes me sad it wasn't. But anyways, so Withered, after Withered finishes, the song stops, and then there's some reverb, kind of weird digital sound effects, and it bleeds into the next song, track number 6, Agent Orange. That's another thing I like about this album, guys. All the songs kind of like fit together and continue after another, so it feels like one continuous song. Meteora by Linkin Park did the same thing. But yeah, Agent Orange, hence the title's a reference to the napalm in the Vietnam War. This is a war song. The lyrics: "This is how you hold your American flag. This is how you hold your patriotic flag." This song would really like fit in a movie with like a battle scene. I think somebody like running into war, shooting and hiding behind cover. It really does make me think of that. And I think this is the longest song on the album. It goes on for 6 minutes because about 3 minutes into a song, a minute of it kind of stops the metal kind of vibes and it goes into a really slow ambient feel really peaceful sounding with some like piano keys being hit. It goes on for a long time. Then after that ends, it goes straight back into the guitars really fast. The drummer's absolutely pounding on those drums, just like freaking beating the hell out of those drums, and it goes back into it. And this is how you hold your American flag. It's just really badass. It does make me think of like a war situation, honestly. And I think it's like, Rooster by Alice in Chains and One by Metallica, a good war song. Track number 7, Time for People. Now, this, guys, was actually officially my introduction to Atomship as a whole, because Time for People was on the 2004 Punisher movie soundtrack. Now, that soundtrack had a lot of songs that weren't in the movie, unfortunately, but it was a good album, and I discovered it after watching the film, because it had Slow Chemical by Finger 11, it had Eyes Wired Shut by Edgewater. Edgewater have obviously broken up now. It had like Broken by Seether. There was some Nickelback song on it as well. But yeah, it had all kinds of new metalish post grunge kind of sounding songs on it. But Time for People really stood out because the lyrics honestly did make me think of the Punisher himself, like Thomas. Well, not the actor Thomas Jane, but yeah, Frank Castle. The lyrics. All those people killing time, so I found time for killing people. I probably butchered the lyrics, but yeah, it's something like that. I found time for killing people. And it really does have kind of an epic, kind of doom feel to it, just like the pace of the song and the acoustic guitars, which lead into the downtuned guitars. The overall speed of the song, it's very doomy-like, very doomer sounding. And it makes me think of like a city, a post-apocalyptic city. And the lyrics could also be about like a dictator, because there's lyrics like contemplating genocide, the front, people waving from the windowsills, and fingers pointing at me. I don't know. That's how I think of it anyway. I think it's about a dictator because of the genocide lyrics. But yeah, Time for People, it just has a really great vibe, and it is one of the more radio-friendly songs. There's not like any crazy time signatures in this one, but it is a really great one, and it honestly fits the Punisher. So yeah, I'm glad that was my first song from the band. Next is track number 8, Alien. Now, the next 3 songs, not to be like that guy, because it is a 9 out of 10 album, but the next 3 songs aren't quite as good as the other songs we've heard. But Aliens starts with some really weird digitally kind of like, I don't know what you'd call it, but rippling kind of effects. It's very like strange sounding. But Joey has some like really interesting vocal work where he goes like a cappella type stuff. But the lyrics constantly repeat the lines, I am the alien, like we are the alien. Those kind of lyrics, and like I'm the alien sitting on the rocking chair, like kind of suggests like an alien life form that's disguised as a human out in the outside world, sneaking around. That's kind of like what the song makes me think about. But the song, it's not one of my more favourite songs because it's one of the more progressive rock songs. Like there's more time signature changes, but it is pretty good, and it does fit the theme of the Crash of 47 album because of aliens and conspiracy theories. So it is really good. Track number 9 is Whitfield. Now, Whitfield was the name of an asylum in Mississippi, so I think it's closed down now, obviously. But yeah, Whitfield. There's lyrics about like there's a man outside, there's a woman outside, and she's screaming that the world's on fire. There's a man outside, and he's screaming that the elephants are trampling him, and all kinds of strange lyrics about like people that might have schizophrenia, seeing things that aren't there, and the patients in the asylum, and the riffs are also like really good, like I've noticed that with these songs, like the guitar work, the riffs are kind of like basic and kind of like slow sometimes, but the drummer is still like drumming like really fast, and I really enjoy that vibe. And the bass, I was going to mention on Agent Orange as well, the bass was really effective on that song, but the bass is good on all of these. Like it's not slap bass or anything mad, but there is some really good bass lines. But yeah, Whitfield, it has a very chaotic feel. I describe it as chaotic, which kind of fits the theme of like mental illness and people in asylums. But yeah, Whitfield, Really great. You know, fantastic song, and the chorus is actually like really peaceful sounding, like Whitfield was my world, but great song. Track number, geez, we're on 10 now, is Friends. Probably the most new metal sounding song on the album, just because of the riffs are like, and the song opens up with kind of a comedy section, kind of like makes the album a bit more lighthearted. But, hey mama, can't you see I'm fucking cooking? Like, the first time I heard that, I legitimately bursted out laughing. I was not expecting that line to be in the song. But yeah, hey mama, can't you see I'm fucking cooking? Brilliant. I still love it anyway. But Friends, the lyrics, like, all my friends, bloated and floating away, and like they're face down, and lyrics about the devil and religion again. I think this song could either be about seeing death, which is very dark, but it doesn't beat you over the head with the edginess, which is good about this album. But yeah, I think it's about people dying, but it could also be about like floating away. Could either be going to heaven, or it could be alien abduction, maybe, to fit the theme of the album. People getting abducted by flying saucers and all that kind of stuff. It's really up to interpretation, but I just like this one because of the mix of electric kind of acoustic style like riffs, but then like really like loud down-tuned ones to kind of get the crowd moshing. I think that's really good, and Joey does some good yelling on this song as well. But anyways, really great song. The last song, unfortunately, the last song on the album, guys. Is it a good finale? Hell yes, it is. The next song is Plastic People, track 11. Plastic People. Now, I just love the intro riff, the do 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 do, while the drummer's doing a nice, like the drummer's going on an absolute ride on this song, even with like the slow paced riffs. But the lyrics are like really long on this one. Like the only thing I could gripe with it is that Joey's voice is kind of hard to understand sometimes. So I had to look up the lyrics, but the lyrics are really long on this song. There's a lot of words in it. But you know, the chorus is like from the windowsill, and Joey uses more like of his kind of a cappella, which really like builds up an epic kind of post-apocalyptic vibe to it. I've said that a lot, but yeah, it makes me think of like a dark and dirty kind of future. And the song goes into like a middle section after like some key changes and stuff, and it goes into kind of like an epic one where there's a lot of thumping of the toms, where Joey is saying like plastic people, paper sky eyes, plastic people, paper skies, which kind of suggests artificiality, and that's what I think this song is about. I think it's like about an artificial future and androids taking over. Plastic people might be like people with plastic surgery who are fake, maybe kind of showing the future. And there's all kinds of like, you know, build up and everything to the end, and then the song just kind of like ends peacefully. And there was no hidden track on this, but I don't think it needed it. Plastic People was just a great end to this, and it fits the sci-fi vibes. And after the last few songs, which weren't as good, Plastic People, one of my favourite Atomship songs, absolutely fantastic. And that's the album, guys. That was The Crash of 47. Overall, what do I think of it? I think this album is aged like wine compared to a lot of those albums from the time, which I still enjoy because I've been getting into them recently, but a lot of them are a bit too edgy and angsty and overly depressing. This song, with all the different themes, the sci-fi themes, but themes of loss and themes of like life in general, really give it a unique listen. And it doesn't sound like an album from 2004. It does sound a lot newer than that. I can't believe how old this one is. But yeah, the production is also fantastic. The guitar work, the riffs. There's unfortunately there's no guitar solos because like in the 2000s, guitar solos were kind of neglected until bands like Avenged Sevenfold brought them back. But there's a lot of really great rhythm sections in this. The bass is also effective. Dathan Slade, rest in peace. He passed away in 2009, but yeah. He was great on this. The Chad Kent, really underrated drummer. I'm really sad that he didn't star on any of the albums or anything, but yeah. You can clearly like listen, you can hear every single bit of the drum kit is being hit. The cymbals, the toms, the snare, the bass drums are really like loud and effective on this one. The drumming is great. Joey's post-apocalyptic, weird, alien-like voice was just perfect for the band, and I'm really glad he's back. Just so many positives. The only thing that makes it a 9 out of 10 and not a 10 is that Joey's voice might be a little bit strange for some, and he's a little bit, not exactly unaudible, but you can't really tell exactly what he's saying sometimes. You do have to have a look, like, what he's doing. But yeah, Atomship, they should have they should have been bigger. This is a great example of a what if album. What would the second album have been like? Would they have expanded their sound? But sadly, this was the only one we've got. And they toured a lot in 2004 with bands like Cold and Floor and Seven Dust and Apartment 26, who've also broken up. But even those tours with like other successful bands in the same genre, unfortunately, didn't help them, which is really sad. But overall, please check this album out, guys. If you're not into this genre, maybe you won't like it, but it's not as cliche as those ones are. And if you love it like me, well, you'll bloody love this album. I mean, I bought it on CD. But yeah, if you want to listen to it though, it's on YouTube. Every single song has been uploaded separately, put in a playlist. It actually is on Spotify, unlike some albums, some rarer kind of albums in this genre. But if you really want to listen to it, check it out digitally and maybe get yourself a copy or whatever. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this review. Sorry that it's been half an hour long, but I just love this album so much, I thought it was worth it. So more reviews to come. If you want to recommend me some, feel free. But I already have a good idea of like which ones I want to do. So expect those to come soon. So thanks for watching, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give me a like. Favorite this video. Share it around. I actually do hope to that Atomship can see this as well. But yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Expect more videos to come. Peace. And the rabbit will live on.